Secrets are unearthed, and destinies are forever changed as the dark forces close in. With old alliances crumbling and new powers rising, one question looms: who can be trusted when the fate of Middle-earth hangs in the balance? Right then, let's set the scene, shall we? Imagine a rather ordinary day in Middle-earth, the sort where nothing much happens except for, well, the end of the world as we know it. You see, an ash-covered eye flickers open, and it's Galadriel's, played by the ever-so-ethereal Morfydd Clark. Now, waking up in a bed of ashes isn't exactly a top-tier experience, especially when your once scenic village has decided to audition for the role of Hell on Earth. Everything, and I do mean everything, is bathed in a lovely shade of impending doom red. It's as if someone took a can of fiery paint and went mad with it. The buildings are on fire, the air is practically lava-flavored, and a horse is galloping about, possibly reconsidering its life choices as it realizes it's on fire too. Galadriel, our intrepid heroine, does what any sensible elf would do in this situation. She calls out for Halbrand and Elendil, because let's face it, wandering alone in a burning village isn't exactly a good idea. Meanwhile, Theo is calling for his mother, but as luck would have it, the universe has gone temporarily deaf. Fortunately, the universe also has a sense of dramatic timing, so Galadriel and Theo find each other in the swirling, crimson dust, and she decides it's time to beat a hasty retreat. Elsewhere in this decidedly not five-star resort, Isildur, that's Maxim Baldry, if you're keeping track, is in a bit of a bind. Or rather, his friend Valendil is, quite literally, stuck under a large chunk of debris. Now, this is where Miriel, Cynthia Adi Robinson, enters the scene, looking every bit like someone who's seen better days. Together, they manage to yank Valendil free, but not before spotting Ontomo's lifeless eyes staring into the red abyss above. Poor Ontomo, the lad who never wanted to fight, and now he won't have to. But, as they say, the show must go on, and so must the rescue efforts. There are children trapped in a burning building, after all, and that's just the sort of thing that requires heroic intervention. Unfortunately, Isildur's heroics are cut short when the roof decides to collapse on him, leaving Miriel stunned and singed. Meanwhile, in a completely different genre of disaster, the Harfoots have made their grand entrance into what they were hoping would be an idyllic grove. But instead of the promised land of apricots and apples, they're greeted by the sight of scorched earth and trees doing a convincing impression of burnt toast. Sadok, the ever-wise, mentions something about volcanoes waking up when new evils are on the rise, which is a roundabout way of saying, well, we're in it now, aren't we? Nori, our resident Harfoot heroine, is understandably concerned that she may have inadvertently brought the new evil along for the ride. But all is not lost. Enter the stranger, a mysterious fellow who seems to have a knack for talking to trees. With a few murmured words, he coaxes new life out of a charred tree, and lo and behold, the fruit starts to brighten up again. Unfortunately, his botanical magic also causes a rather large branch to come crashing down on Nori, which puts a bit of a damper on their budding friendship. The stranger looks pained, and Nori looks like she's reconsidering her life choices. In Khazad-dûm, meanwhile, there's a bit of a diplomatic kerfuffle. Elrond, Robert Aramayo, is trying to convince King Durin III, Peter Mullen, that mining for mithril is the way forward, but the king is having none of it. He's got this quaint idea about not digging in unstable earth that might bury them all alive, which, to be fair, is a reasonable concern. But reason doesn't stand a chance against the combined might of Elrond, Durin IV, Owain Arthur, and a very persuasive glowing axe. Even so, the king isn't moved, and Elrond is sent packing with a Namori, which, loosely translated, means, don't let the door hit you on the way out. But then, just as Elrond is about to depart, something miraculous happens. The poisoned leaf that Elrond had brought along suddenly springs back to life, thanks to a conveniently placed piece of mithril. This unexpected turn of events has Durin and Disa jumping for joy and calling Elrond back into the fold. Clearly, the universe has a soft spot for dramatic last-minute saves. Back in the Southlands, however, things aren't looking quite so rosy. Survivors, including a very beleaguered Elendil, are slogging through a forest that's seen better days, and Miriel is sporting a new look, blindfold chic, courtesy of a recent encounter with a fireball. As she, Valendil, and Elendil stumble into Numenor's camp, it's clear that this adventure hasn't gone according to plan. Galadriel and Theo eventually make it to the camp as well, where she offers to help turn Theo into a proper soldier because, as she knows all too well, a good sword is just the thing to help one navigate the perils of Middle-earth. Meanwhile, back at the Grove, the Harfoots are still trying to make sense of their singed surroundings when the stranger is sent off to find the big folk settlements. Sadok hands him a star chart and sends him on his way, but not before Nori gives him a precious apple for the road. Despite the tension, there's a glimmer of hope as a yellow flower blooms in the stranger's wake. Now, let's fast forward to the mines, where Durin and Elrond are having a bit of a bonding moment over a particularly stubborn rock wall. With a bit of elbow grease, they finally break through to a vein of mithril that gleams like silver roots stretching deep into the mountain. But their victory is short-lived, as King Durin shows up and unceremoniously kicks Elrond out of Khazad-dûm, all while stripping his son of his royal crest. Family dinners in Khazad-dûm are going to be awkward for a while. And so, we come full circle, back to the burning village where Ardar is striding through the red-tinged smoke like a man who's just conquered the world, which, in a way, he has. The name Southlands is no more, replaced by something far more ominous. As we gaze at the towering Mount Doom, still spewing its life-snuffing ash into the sky, it becomes clear, this is Mordor now. The orcs have found their home, and Middle-earth will never be the same again. As the shadows grow longer and the stakes higher, there's so much more to uncover in the days ahead. If you're ready to journey further with us, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for all the latest updates. Let us know in the comments, who do you think will emerge victorious in this battle of light versus dark? And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of the Rings of Power.